People's businesses die in the follow-up. If you don't follow up, it's like, I just walked into Walmart and I just turned around and walked out. Get them on some sort of an email list, an SMS list, some sort of like in your face. You know when you go to a website and you see that website follow you around all over the place? That's retargeting.
Welcome to another episode here at the Trailblazers Talk podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Ortega, and we are committed to creating content just like this to inspire, to motivate, and to empower you as an entrepreneur so you could continue to blaze your own trail to success. And I'm here with a good friend of mine I've known for a very long time. We've built brands, we've lost brands, we've made money, we lost money. We've done a lot of great things together, and this man has been an inspiration to me, a person I looked at as a mentor, as a partner, and somebody who I continue to learn from to continue to grow businesses and to get to the next level as an entrepreneur and also as a father. So here on today's podcast, I have Cota, aka RicCh Nerd, all the way from Atlanta to Vegas. What up, man?
Hey, ATL.
ATL in the building.
ATL.
Flew in this morning at 3 a.m. or
long early flight. Yep. Got left at 3, got here at like 8 a.m. So
and you're running on a few hours of sleep, man.
Pretty much running on
Hey,
a
bro,
few
that's
hours
that
of sleep.
entrepreneurial life, bro.
It is 24/7 espresso.
Yeah, hopefully you don't
No dopio.
Dopio. So funny story, last time RicCh Nerd was in Vegas, he drank this dopio. I think it's 8 shots of espresso, and he was
It was
an
accident. It was an accident. Yeah.
Bro, the funny story is I get a call. I get calls from you, bro, I'm with the family, and he goes, I'm at a convenience store on the floor.
No, I was at the one of the gift shops in the hotel. No,
That is hilarious.
Where was I? I think
Planet
it was
Hollywood,
Caesars
right?
or somewhere. Planet Hollywood, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
But I leaned over the counter, told the lady, "Look, I'm dying. I'm dying right now." She's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Yeah."
In Vegas.
What did you take? Well, it was caffeine and coffee. What are you talking about? Caffeine and coffee.
Bro, they probably thought you were on some
they did.
type
I
of
was
drug.
like, the buttons were on the wrong buttons at the office. And I thought I was getting 4 shots of espresso,
Bro.
and I got 4 shots of dopio. And if you calculate that, that's like 2,500, almost 3,000 milligrams of caffeine.
That's crazy.
So
as funny as that is, I'm glad you're good.
Oh, that was scary.
Because I thought you're like, man, the paramedics are coming and blah blah blah. I want to take this serious, but I put you on hold, or I put me on mute because I couldn't hold it in. I'm like, coffee's making you like this? That's wild to me. So
yeah,
that was the
crazy.
last time you were here. This time last year.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was right around this time. Yeah, been about a year.
Note to self: don't drink dopio.
Be careful, because some of those machines, they have the selections, but you can accidentally grab it. You'll find out, but don't do it.
That's hilarious. It would happen to you too.
Bro.
That's funny.
On the day I was leaving. It
was
horrible.
That's funny. While you're trying to get your kids some gifts, that's why you went to the strip.
Yeah. But it kicked in on the way in the Uber.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I'm dying. I'm gonna die. I gotta go tell somebody I need help. It was so
Sorry,
crazy.
man, that is hilarious. I'm glad you're good. But stories like this, I think, makes building relationships with people where you actually get to know them, and you have experiences. You have the good ones, the bad ones, the ones you laugh about, and we're laughing about this a year later, right? So
crazy. Yeah.
Well, I've known you for over a decade, but for everyone that's watching this, they don't know who you are, and I don't ever go into tell me your story, tell me from the beginning. But I just want to ask you, if you were to genuinely share who you are to these amazing people watching from all over the world, here's your moment. Go for it.
Really? I'm Chris Cota from Atlanta, Georgia. Grew up in a small town in Texas. So I grew up on the farm, lived cows, horses, pigs, llamas, all kinds of stuff.
Llamas.
Llamas.
Were you riding them?
Llamas keep the coyotes away from the animals.
Did you ever like ride a
No,
llama?
they spit at you.
Really?
They spit at
So
you.
they're not like camels. You
No.
can't ride them.
Can't ride a llama.
Okay. I always thought like a llama was a
No.
miniature camel.
No, it's like not an emu. What's the other one? Alpaca.
Okay, but
Similar to
you can
alpaca.
ride alpacas, can't you?
Not really.
Really?
Kids can maybe.
Okay, it's probably all the shows I've seen growing up, like riding alpacas. And
No,
stuff.
a grown man riding an alpaca is probably a bad idea. It'll
Okay.
break his back.
Okay,
So
noted.
yeah. So again, grew up on the farm. Always. My dad and my mom weren't really there for me as much as I would wanted them to be. So I learned a lot of the stuff on my own by myself. And my real original. I have a whole crazy story. I don't know how deep I want to get into it, but my original dream was to be an IndyCar driver, which is similar to F1. It's one reason I came to check out Vegas too. F1's going on right now. But I use these things in analogies and in helping myself and other people and businesses too. So in order for your business to run well, you need to have a race car that's properly tuned, and you also need to have a pit crew, which is your team, to take care of the little things that you don't want to take care of. Right?
Yeah, and that's good, man, because we've built a pretty big company together. When it started off as you and I, him in Atlanta, me in San Diego. I was cold calling people, closing deals, and you were fulfilling. And
we building systems.
We got so far. And then we started to expand. We expanded to a sales manager, and then a marketing guy, and then customer service, and built the whole business in a matter of months. But in today's generation of entrepreneurship, so many people think they could do it themselves.
No.
And you're one person you're the one person that has always told me, get a team, build a team, after all the ventures we've done together. And so I just want to ask you, man, like, I know, like, your story growing up, like, you were kind of going into it and then you pulled back a little bit. But I just want to ask you, like, what made you an entrepreneur, right, from the foundation of where you grew up and all that stuff? What made you an entrepreneur? What got you into that? And I have a few other questions to piggyback off of the team building. I know we're kind of like went to a different direction, but I'm really curious because I've never asked you this, I don't think. But what made you get into entrepreneurship?
Right. So growing up, I didn't have a lot. So I grew up as a child that didn't have a lot, didn't get to have a lot. My parents weren't as fortunate as, say, my cousins. So I would always end up being with my cousins, and my that side of the family was pretty wealthy. So I got to see night and day. I'm like, wait a second, they got brand new cars. I got this beater. He's only 16. I got this beater. He got a brand new car from the dealership. Like, something's off here. Like, what is the dynamic here? And then it goes deeper. And then I started learning other cultures. My wife's Japanese, so I met my girlfriend back then, which is now my wife. I learned the Japanese, way of money and, how they save. And it's a whole nother world of how the economy works, and not only that, how they they appreciate their money. They literally will put money on a plate and give it to you as change, and pretty much say thank you and give you your change, right? And they bow, and it's all about an energetic thing. So the reason I became entrepreneur is I never wanted my kids to grow up how I grew up, and to this day, that's what's happening. So.
Man, I love that. And keep this, don't edit this out, but we need to tighten that mic because it keeps, so just turn that down. No, this thing. You turn this. So, yeah, counterclockwise. So it doesn't swing.
Good.
No, yeah. I don't want this edited out. I want to keep that in. Like, don't edit that.
Yeah.
I want this as organic as possible. And, okay, so you were inspired to have more as a younger kid because you saw your wealthier side of your family have more. So that was seed planting in you, right?
Big
You're
time.
like, okay, I see more. Why don't I have more? But what was that moment that got you into entrepreneurship? The moment from like you weren't one and now you are one.
Really, back in my automotive career, I was a mechanic before any of this, and I got a DWI. There's a long story behind that, but it destroyed my whole car career, and it moved me into management, and I went into managing Radio Shacks to doing loss prevention at Walmart. I was the one that would chase you
You're
down,
a security guard?
bro. I would chase you down and handcuff you
Oh,
once I
shoot.
found out you're stealing, and I could catch all the elements.
Wow.
Call the cops, let you go to jail, whatever. And then it moved me into business and marketing, and
But how did you get into business? So you was your
funnier story, but
was your last job before going into business be a security guard?
yes, it was.
So how did you get into business from that?
Actually, no, it was government contracting, where I would do all the systems in the IT for a private government contracting firm. But then I learned a lot about business because part of my job was to help them set up their LLCs, their
Right.
SBAs, get qualified to bid on government contracts. I had a government secret clearance. It's dormant now. But I would help everyone with these contracts get a government secret clearance in order for them to be able to be involved in the contract.
Okay. So
It's a
you kind of did a
crazy
whole bunch of
roller coaster.
different jobs, and then you got to a place where you're doing government work and
Yep.
you're making probably more money than you probably ever had
Yeah,
before.
that wasn't even much now I think about it. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what was the moment that got you into your first business? And what was that first business of yours?
A good friend of mine said, "Hey, this is what you should learn," and I followed him around. And it was Fiverr. Everything started for me on Fiverr. When Fiverr was $5 gigs, we made $100,000. Now Fiverr is a whole nother story. I still get a lot of my business and my leads from Fiverr. I don't market myself at all, and I'm blessed to be able to have that avenue that I built way back when Fiverr was what it was. I was there from day one. I used to own the Fiverr Facebook page and the Twitter page,
Wow.
but they took it away. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Later on they figured out the law and stuff.
Yeah.
But we were smarter than them back in the day.
Wow.
So it's crazy. I own the
So
Google
you were
Plus
like one of the
page.
first contractors on Fiverr.
Well, they were doing it big. We were
Yeah.
doing 200 orders a day, selling Instagram followers with bots,
Wow.
like straight up bots. These bots would go around liking and commenting and interacting.
What year was this?
Oh, this was.
Like
I didn't have
2012 or
my kids were little. My oldest is almost 12, so it's been about 12 years. Yeah,
wow.
11, 12 years.
So this was probably during a time where IG was picking up relevancy and everybody was like, how do we grow on here?
Facebook
So
didn't own it yet.
were you like the person who would make these accounts go really viral? Just
Yes, we would make these accounts go viral as
Wow.
heck, and it was easy to do back then.
Yeah.
Now it's not as easy because Facebook bought it, and they got
Yeah.
all these algorithms and stuff. But when Instagram was Instagram, man, you get crazy engagement, like you just wouldn't believe.
right.
So
I kind of want to jump ship to a different place in this conversation because like I'm really curious on your take on becoming wealthy with the internet because like you taught me about marketing and you taught me about agency work, and in fact like the first agency I've done was with you. And now we're in this era where like making money on the internet is different today than it has been this last decade. And from my observation, you've kind of elevated and tested and experimented in so many different ways this last decade.
Mhm.
So in today, 2023, going into 2024, like what is the best way to make money on the internet in your professional opinion?
it's all about systems and automation. Once you can figure out how to systemize and automate whatever it is you're trying to push, you know, you're a lawyer. You want leads for your personal injury firm. Okay, cool. Find someone like us. We'll get you leads all day long. And then it starts to become autopilot. You just get leads every day. We take care of all that stuff for you. You know, any type of business, automating. As soon as someone submits a form, what should happen? Well, that client should get an email or an SMS or some sort of a follow up. People's businesses die in the follow up. If you don't follow up, it's like I just walked into Walmart and I just turned around and walked out.
Right.
So no one invited you in. You're not being reminded. You know, so you want to stay on top of mind.
And why do you think money is made in the follow-up?
Because people forget what they do. Some people don't remember what they did 5 minutes ago.
That's interesting.
So they click a link. They're at a restaurant. Oh, man, I like that ad. Let me click that link. Oh, shit. They go back later and like, oh, I clicked something, but I don't know where it is.
Right.
I lost it. If you're not retargeting, make it show up again. That's the key. Make it show up again. 1, get them on some sort of an email list, a SMS list, some sort of like in your face. You know, when you go to a website and you see that website follow you around all over the place, that's retargeting. That's follow-up.
And what's the best way to do all this?
Man, Facebook, Instagram ads, that's the easiest right now. TikTok does it as well.
You're saying like capture somebody and then put them through an email system. What do you use for an email system?
Well, there's a system we use called HyperAcquire. HyperAcquire's got its automated system built in. You know, you could get a basic system anywhere from $149 on up into a $10,000 build. But $10,000 build, you're gonna have an entire team map out your entire business process from step 1 to the end.
So just to put into context for everyone watching this, if you've seen, you know, the ClickFunnels people or Go High Level people, you know, HyperAcquire is a white label version of Go High Level, just for context for people to understand.
Yeah, we licensed the HyperAcquire system, but it is a high level system. High level's great, but if you sign up for that, it's useless because you have nothing behind it. No IP. You have no one that can really help you. That's why having someone like us come in and map out everything to build your dream system. We'll build your race car, give you the keys to it, and then show you how to drive it.
Because that, man, you're dropping nuggets for people because there's so many people who, like, making money, I feel, is the easiest part. Whatever you want to sell coaching, you want to sell real estate,
Hats.
You want to sell clothing, you want to sell whatever you want to sell, you could sell it. There's more than enough buyers, but then on the fulfillment or the management or just the day-to-day operations, I feel like a lot of people are lost. I mean, I've been lost many times. You're like, hey, you got to use the system, you got to do this, you got to stop, you got to use the calendar system. Like, I feel like there's so many entrepreneurs who just run. And although they want to work smarter, they're working so hard and they're exhausting themselves. Let's talk about that because I know you've worked with so many people to simplify their work, their workflow, and make them a whole bunch of money. So let's talk about that.
Not only about the systems, but I got a good book to go along with it. And I don't endorse the book, so we're not getting paid on this. But a real good book, if you're starting out, it's called The Entrepreneur's Roller Coaster. Step 1 in there is to find your A players. Who's as good as you or better than you? And start building your team. So then you can focus on doing other things so you can scale things up. Otherwise, you're doing everything. You're wearing you got to flip through all the hats.
Right.
You know, that's where people...
You don't want to wear all the hats.
No, you don't want to wear all the hats. Been there, done that. Been there, done that.
It's not fun.
It's not fun. It'll make you
crazy.
You
can make some money.
Yep.
But you'll work your butt off.
Work your butt off. It'll fall off.
Yeah. So find your A players.
Find your A players. Build your dream team.
Okay.
Then systemize. You've got to systemize, sequence,
Can you break that down to, like, if you're talking to a kindergartner, like, how would you explain it?
Systemize. Okay. Yeah, we'll break it down.
So break it down to a...
So a basic appointment funnel, for example, right? People right now use something called Calendly. But the issue with Calendly, you're at the mercy of the automations that they allow you to do. With something that we would put together for you, we would completely customize that reminder sequence, meaning you want to send an immediate, oh, thanks for submitting your appointment. Here's the details for your appointment. Be on the lookout for whatever. Here's how you save it to the calendar. And then, maybe 8 hours later, hey, don't forget your appointment's on XYZ day, blah, 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 whatever. Send an email, send a text, send a Facebook message, Instagram message. You could message all over the place. That gets a little crazy. But, the point being is if you're in their face, they will not forget about the appointment. I have a 99, probably 98% show up rate on my appointments because I make sure you don't forget. And you're going to have the Zoom link on your email and on your text everywhere. I can have a automated phone call go out to you, 30 minutes before and drop a voice memo. So there's all kinds of things you could do. And that's the beauty. It's like a gift and a curse. There's so much you can do to automate, but you want to keep it simple. Keep it simple and then make it awesome later.
Right.
Keep it simple for the launch.
Okay. Yeah. So
hopefully that was a little untech.
No, I think it was. You did good, man. For everyone watching this, ask yourself, number one, are you an entrepreneur? If you are an entrepreneur, perfect. If you're not, and if you want to be an entrepreneur, this is some advanced stuff, but you could still implement it at the level starting. Because if I were to know this when I first started, I feel like I would be way more ahead of myself because you want to start right. And starting right in business isn't always easy. It's never always fast. Setting this type of stuff up isn't going to happen overnight. And just to put it into context, I think to set up a funnel we've done together or a system could take 2 to 3 weeks. And that's from experts like yourself, putting it together. So where do you think people could go to learn how to do all this? What did you do to learn how to do all this?
Man.
Who did you go to or who did you learn from?
I just started tinkering. It's like same with fixing a car engine. The alternator goes out. You ever fixed one before? No? All right, let's open the hood. Let's start clicking around and see if we can figure it out.
So you feel like the best way is just to dive into it?
Dive into it or hire an expert. If you hire an expert, that's your fastest way there. You'll get there super fast, and you'll have a pit team, to have a crew, everyone to be able to, all you got to do is drive the car.
Right. Okay. So if you don't have a whole bunch of money, learn it yourself, right? Maybe YouTube or courses.
Yeah. You know what? We'll put together a course,
a
simple course for people to be able to use to at least get started. And then
Okay.
you'll get in there and you'll be like, oh, you know what? I need a lot more help.
Right.
All right. Well, here's how you upgrade.
Gotcha.
Or, oh, this is enough. I'm good. I got it. I can do this myself.
So you're saying you're going to put a course together for that?
Cool. Yeah. We'll put a course together.
Okay. So hopefully the course is done before this podcast is out. So it's on the show notes underneath. If it's not, blow up his social media and ask him for the course. Comment everywhere.
Yeah.
Tell him to DM me the course.
Drop it.
Reverse market to him.
Yeah. You follow up.
Man, I just wanted to, kind of take a few steps back and just ask you from a mindset perspective. You're a father of 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're a husband. You're a leader. You're a boss. You're an investor. You're also a high ticket, sales, luxury sales type of person. So now you're doing all this stuff. How do you mentally keep yourself where you're at to manage what you're doing?
Teams. You got to have teams in place. And your right hand, I have my right hand for digital stuff. I have my right hand for luxury brokering stuff. I have, it just really depends. You got to put a group together to be able to make it easier. But make sure everyone, whatever they're doing, that they enjoy it. Yeah. And part of that, I know this sounds crazy, but there's something called the love languages. Use it in your business too.
That's the first time I've heard anyone say that.
Yeah. I use it in my business. I'll be able to say, oh, that's why they're not, they hate what they're doing. Okay, I got to move them.
Right.
I got to move them somewhere else.
So what's the best way to apply love languages to building sounds like you're building company culture
Company culture.
not without within the people that are working for you. So how do you apply that?
Right, because everyone's humans. Even VAs that we use overseas for different things, they get amazed and like blown out of their chair when they feel like we actually care about them, because no one does. And I'm like, yeah, man, how's your mom? How's your life? Like, what's going on with you? And then you can start to figure out someone's love language. Like me, for example. So pretend I'm like the star player on your team, and I'm getting all this stuff done, and you're not even like saying, "Oh man, thanks. That funnel was awesome." That's called acts of affirmation.
Right.
Like giving people the compliments, so that's like fuel. You like put more fuel in their car. Oh, more fuel, more fuel. Then they're gonna go harder for you, harder.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, from a leadership perspective, leveraging the love language as a form of building with contractors and employees and VAs, you feel like that's the most effective way for you?
Well, it's the most effective way for humans. It's a human thing, but then it also is psychological when people realize like they actually care.
Right.
Like, holy crap, what the heck?
Right.
All my other clients I help, they don't give a damn. They treat me
Do you apply that with clients too?
everyone. I treat everyone like a human. I'll listen to clients' problems. I have clients just start crying their whole hearts out to
It's
me.
like, I didn't know I was gonna be a therapist.
Right, it happens, but I'm like, okay, well, it's okay. So
Right.
let's figure out what's, how do we get here? Because if your mindset's jacked up, your business is going to be jacked up.
That's so good. That's so true.
Yeah.
I think just from like a mental health perspective, so many entrepreneurs need to work on how could their business benefit their mental health. And I think a lot of leaders don't look at like the chaoticness of their business being a reason why they're kind of messed up in the head. Like all of us been there. And when you actually open the hood and you realize, hey, if my business can run smooth, I'll actually be happy outside of work or outside of the office.
Right, because you have a team handling things. Your team's happy. They're
Yeah.
making money they're happy with. Your company's making money that you're happy with, and it just can continue to grow and get better and better from there.
I love that.
And don't forget to give back. You got people in the community, just always a good rule of thumb, give 10% of whatever you make, just either to a church or some charity, or I literally get cash out, put it in my wallet, and I bump into homeless people. But I don't film it. I don't film it as much as I want to film it. Like you see all this stuff on the internet, that's actually against the principles. You do not want to display that in public because it's a private situation someone's going through.
Yeah. I think in the Bible,
I was looking for the verse.
I think it's Matthew. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
We'll find that verse and we'll put it in the bottom of the show notes.
Yeah.
So, man, yeah, I mean, I feel what you're saying is something that kind of going into more biblical terms here. Like I've been this year applying more kingdom principles to my life and also to my business, and I've seen a huge difference. How has applying kingdom principles to your life and to your business, how has that impacted you?
I mean, of course, in a positive way, but it's easier said than done. You've got, hey, you do this. Well, what do you do this? You got the shoulder stuff. Like that's real. That's a real thing that people struggle with. I struggle with it too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not perfect. But when you do apply those biblical principles and you focus on doing what you can to make sure that they're in place and stay in on track with that, you'll notice blessings start to happen. Then when you kind of stray a little bit, you'll know, oh, that's why that happened. Dadgummit. Okay. All right, come back to it. But again, we're human.
Yeah. Well, man, I just want to kind of keep touching on that subject because I feel this podcast, the foundation is built off of talking about kingdom principles and business. I feel like we're kind of at that pocket. So I know last year when I was kind of going through a rough path, you told me to read the book of Matthew. And you were saying how the book of Matthew was bringing revelation to your life. I don't know if you remember that time.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Actually, one of the passages in there, I forget where it was or which one it was, and it tested me immediately. It was talking about forgiveness. and you must learn to forgive. You
Yeah.
must learn. And someone smacked me in the back of the car. I was driving, listening to it on my earpods. Someone smacked me. I was like, right now? I got to forgive him right
So
now.
you got into an accident?
Yeah, someone smacked me.
I don't remember you saying that. That's crazy.
Yeah, then they took off, so I had to chase them.
Oh, okay. Now I remember. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm going to chase this guy like a police chase. But then I ended up getting him to pull over, and I was like a little upset at first, and I was like, all right. I just heard this. All right. Calm down. Let me find out what's going on.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I don't know what happened, blah, 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 whatever. I look at my car, I look at his. I'm like, you know what? Nothing happened. I don't care. Cops were already on the way. They showed up. He's like, hey, what are you going to do? You know what? Our cars are fine. We're good. He's like, all right, have a good day. So immediately I was like, okay, all right. That was fast.
Yeah.
That was fast.
Yeah.
So, and that's part of manifest. You can literally manifest things like that.
Right.
But you have to be in the flow state.
Yeah.
And you have to be in tune, with the man upstairs. I got a concept I call, it's like, if he doesn't know, look, you go to Google Maps, you go to Siri and say, hey, navigate me to XYZ. They know how to get you there, so they're going to help you get there. But if you don't tell God, for example, what your GPS coordinates are, he don't know how to get you where you want to go.
Right.
That's why it doesn't happen like you really want it to or as fast.
Right.
And even praying. Some people, they don't understand. You don't pray, oh my God, please give it to me. That's like so like a negative energy. You're going to repel what it is that you actually want.
That's so true.
So, they say act as if it already exists.
Right.
That's the same concept, similar as fake it till you make it.
I call it faith it till you make it.
Faith it till you make
Yeah.
it. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll tell you this, man, I've seen it in your life. I've seen you faith it till you make it. You were talking about flipping Rolexes back when we were in Miami earlier this year, and then you did it. You're talking about you want to, sell jets, and now you're doing it. And so, you really are living by example, man. And I'll tell you, and I'm not just hyping him up. Like, I've known him for over a decade. I've seen how he was 10 years ago compared to now. You are the same person, but now you're living the things that you've always said you're going to do. And it's such a just inspirational thing to watch.
Thanks. But yeah, it's been a journey, I tell you what.
Yeah. So, we're definitely going to have a part 2 podcast because I feel like we could go so much more.
Yeah.
But I want to leave the guests where we're at here because if you follow me, and if this is the first time you've seen the podcast, make sure you subscribe below. You like, you comment, you share. But like Chris and I, RicCh Nerd, we're going to be doing a lot of epic things together. And this is going to be that podcast we look back on, 6 months from now on part 2. We go, man, remember that time we did the podcast in Vegas? Like the part 2 is going to be crazy. Like I already know it is. So I want to wrap this up by asking you this question. You ready for it? If you were wiped out from existence. Everything. I'm talking like 100 years from now, people can't even Google you. Nothing about you is here except a piece of paper you write one sentence on, and it's framed in the Museum of Heroes for the rest of eternity. What would that paper say and why?
It would really say something like, only you have the power to achieve what you want.
And why?
Because people don't believe that they actually do. But if you start living that principle, that's what started it for me. When I started living the principle of like, someone, oh, you can't do that. Watch me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do something else next. But I'm going to do it. Or... I find when things aren't going well for me, I notice I didn't write them down in my goal list. And to me, that's once you put that physical pen into your mind and you actually write it physically with the motion, it triggers your brain, and then it triggers up above to see I call it ordering, manifesting like you're going to order off of a menu. I know I'm going on a tangent here, but write down what you want. Because you know what you do when you order your food off of a menu at a restaurant? You remove all resistance 100%. You don't doubt it. You don't think it's not coming.
Mm.
You know 100% inside that it's coming. And you don't even care when, but it shows up.
Mm.
That's what a lot of people do backwards with their goals. They write them down. Oh man, I don't think I can do that. Oh man, it was on the way. It's on the way, but then it just went backwards. Don't do that. Like, I don't know how to say it.
So write it down, believe it.
Yeah.
Have patience.
Like you're
Work
ordering
towards
food.
it. Yeah. No resistance.
You never think about your food not coming.
Mm.
Unless you get a bad waitress, but
Right.
that's kind of rare.
Right.
It's a rare thing. So
I love that, man. I know you said that to me a few times before, but I think it's a really good analogy for people to just understand goal setting. Write down your goals without resistance. Believe it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Have faith that it's going to happen. Work towards it, and it'll happen.
yeah. And what's your goal? Is part of that goal a car? Well, this is true. Go sit in it. Go smell it.
Right.
Walk in that place like you own it. Go into that dealership like you own it. And just, if someone asks, hey, how can I help you? I'm looking at the car I'm going to get next week. I'm already talking to someone else. So they'll leave you alone, kind of.
Right.
Because if you act like you already own it, it's a whole nother environment. I can't tell you how many times I walk into places and people are just like, they want to give me everything. Everything. Because I act like I own it. Act like I own it.
All right. I love that. Well, guys, part 2 will be coming out very soon. What I want to encourage you guys to do is watch this podcast back. Chris said some very strategic, high-level stuff that you could implement in your life and in your business. So if you watch this podcast through without taking notes, go back, take notes. And if you have any questions on anything Chris said, tap in with him. He's somebody that responds back. You know, if people follow you, message you, ask you questions, you're here for them. Yeah. So I want to encourage you guys to get connected with Chris. All his links will be right under this show, whether it's on YouTube or wherever it is. We'll make sure the show notes has all those links. And, man, I just want to say thank you for flying into town from Atlanta. And by the way, tomorrow's your birthday, so let's show him some love.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this will be posted way after his birthday.
I'll be 18.
He'll be 18. But just show him some love. Comment below happy birthday. And, man, I wish you a really great time here in Vegas. And I'm excited for the future, bro.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. So I appreciate you guys being here with us today at Trailblazers Talk. Just like Chris Cota, a.k.a. RicCh Nerd, we bring you guests every week to inspire, to motivate, and to empower you as an entrepreneur. So make sure you subscribe, you like, you comment, you share, and we'll see you in the next episode.